Hello, Foxy Finds here, and today I'm doing a top 10 Pokemon. I've been looking over several methods and decided the only correct objective method of classifying Pokemon is their number of limbs. We're not talking about something simple like 4 or 5 or even 6. No, if you don't have more limbs than this overcooked salamander of a dragon with training wheels wannabe mascot with a fear of Brock and spray bottles, you're not good enough for my list. To start off, we have Starmie. This Pokemon has 10 of these limbs, but what are they? Is this a foot? Can it rotate and land on other points and still stand? Do they act like arms? Due to the ambiguity of this, I had to put this at the bottom of my list. Next, we have Omanite. This Pokemon has 10 little tentacles that act like feet sometimes and hands sometimes. This little guy is adorable, but the limbs themselves can't really do a lot. This gives it a solid slot in our number 9 spot. And if Omanite makes our list, its evolved form has to as well. 2 of its tentacles have become much more like hands, and 2 of them have become much more like feet, making this objectively better than Omanite, but not by much. This puts it solidly in the number 8 slot. On to Vulpix. This Pokemon is only got 5 limbs when it hatches, but it gains more as it grows. And this Pokemon truly earns its way up in the ranks, giving it a well-deserved 7th rank. Now we move on to a controversial pick, Kangaskhan. This Pokemon has 10 limbs, but it's split between 2 creatures. However, that's like disqualifying someone for having to put in extra work. Kangaskhan is literally been raising a child since it hatched, born with the responsibility of parenthood. Kangaskhan is still one Pokemon. They both go into the ball, they still count as one. If this included other generations, even Mousehold would be fair game, so Kangaskhan will receive its spot as number 6. Next in this entry is a surprise, Venomoth, with a whopping 11 limbs. This Pokemon has 6 arms, 4 wings, and a tail. That's a lot of limbs for not having a leg to stand on. Venomoth, sadly, is really quantity over quality. Its arms are mostly useless by themselves. Still, by numbers alone, it makes it into our number 5 slot. But not everyone on this list is all about limbs for show. Dugtrio. It does not really like to show off like the other Pokemon on this list. In fact, we have no idea what its limbs even look like. But we do know that they have them. After poring over data, and seems like the most likely answer to me is that each individual Dugtrio part has 4 limbs. A low number on its own, but with dedication and teamwork, these 3 combine their numbers into 12, but they don't like to brag about it. That kind of dedication earns the coveted 4th slot. Alright, here we are at the top 3. If you know anything about Generation 1, you know what the next probable Pokemon is. In our number 3 spot, the beautiful, majestic, mysterious Ninetales. Its tails alone would put it all the way onto the 10th spot on this list if it had not already been this high up. This Pokemon shows it all off with its lucky or unlucky 13 limbs. But time and time again, we see that being flashy does not bring someone to the top alone, as we have a big surprise for the number 2 slot. Maybe it's a small surprise. We have Weedle. Yes, this tiny larva Pokemon outpaces the rest with its seven pairs of legs, well, leg nubs, and its single tail, giving us 15 limbs. It may not show off much, but Weedle really takes the cake with this one. But what could possibly outnumber 15 limbs? This Pokemon snuck into this competition, hiding its true strength, only showing what it felt necessary at the time. But we dove in, we found the Pokemon that not only beat out the competition, but it did so by an extraordinary large margin. Weedle itself only has 3/8 of the number of limbs as our winner. Taking the top slot is none other than Tentacruel. While looking on it, you may only see 8 tentacles. Or 10? Sorry, I mean 14. Wait. That one has 22. Usually, this Pokemon keeps most of its limbs tucked inside of itself, but the total count is actually 40. That's right, this Pokemon has 40 limbs. I think that speaks for itself. A clean sweep of the number 1 spot. There you have it, the top 10 Generation 1 Pokemon by limb count. If you enjoyed this kind of content, let me know, and I may do more of these lists in the future. I'll see you next time.